Good afternoon and welcome everyone to today's lunch break with the Rabbi. Today, as we continue to discuss the book of Genesis. Today, we'll go a little bit further in our story with the stories of the book of Genesis, as today we will continue to learn about the first people who the Torah mentions, the first family, as we want to call it. And the first family had their own set of issues, as we know, starting with the sin of the tree of knowledge, and then they were exiled from the Garden of Eden. But then Adam and Eve gave birth to two children, Cain and Abel. And the Torah tells us the episode of what happened. As Cain and Abel were working in the field, they decided that they're both going to bring a gift to God. And Cain decided he's going to take from the different vegetations. It said he brought some flax, and he brought that as a sacrifice. While Abel on the other end took from the best of his flock, from the best of his animals, and brought that as a sacrifice. And the Torah continues to say that God then answered and listened to Abel's sacrifice, accepted that, but to Cain's sacrifice he did not take. Why didn't God take Cain's sacrifice? We'll soon find out. What happens the next day? The two of them are both in the field, and Cain attacks Abel and kills him. Now, a few interesting things happen here. First of all, the concept of life and death never happened yet. So the concept that Cain would even know that what he did, that the blow that he gave to his brother would kill him, also he didn't know. So we can't call him an abrogator or a murderer necessarily. He didn't know that was going to happen. But there's another interesting thing that happened was that when Abel died, he was sitting on top of the ground, and Adam and Cain did not know, what do you do when a person dies? And only in the distance did they see that one of their birds died, and it dug a little hole and buried them. Did they learn that that's what we do when somebody dies? And of course, this goes back to the first thing God told Adam when he exiled him from the Garden of Eden. You were created from earth, and when the time comes, you will return to earth. But then God comes along to Cain and he says, Cain, what did you do? I hear your blood of the blood of your brother calling out to me. Now, God tells Cain, why are you upset? Did he not know why he was upset? Because the sacrifice wasn't accepted. But God was asking him something deeper. Are you upset because your sacrifice wasn't accepted? Or are you upset because Abel's sacrifice was accepted? You know, in Jewish law, we have many different times, different situations, where somebody has to come to a rabbi. If something becomes non-kosher, they have to throw it out. And sometimes you'll find people are more than willing to give up or to throw it out if something is not kosher, even if it costs to the tune of $600. But if that same $500, $600, you tell this individual that you now owe it to Mr. So-and-so, they will throw such a ruckus and say, why do I have to pay him that money? You're a fraud, you were bribed, and everything else. It's the same $500. Because what are you upset about? Are you upset about that the other person's getting it or that you're losing it? And this is the question which we seemingly see continuous, where the Torah tells, where the times where God meets Cain and Abel, asking them for introspection. What are they actually upset about? Why are they angry? Why did this episode happen? Is it because you yourself came to that conclusion, or you're just jealous of the person around you? We see this a little bit earlier, after the sin of the tree of knowledge, where God comes to Adam and Eve and asks them, Ayeka, where are you? Did God not know where they were? And this is a very famous story. I'm sure you heard me say it before. When the first Chabad Rebbe was imprisoned in Petersburg, the Minister of Education heard that the Alter Rebbe was a very great learned scholar. And he decided that he wants to come and speak to the first Chabad Rebbe while he was in prison. And he came into the prison and he asked the first Chabad Rebbe, I want to ask you some questions in the book of Genesis. So he said, okay. He said, why did God ask Adam and Eve, where are they? Didn't he know where they are? Doesn't God know where everyone is? Didn't he put them there? So the Alter Rebbe, the first Chabad Rebbe, starts telling him with the commentaries, explains, says, no, Rabbi, I want to hear your commentary. And the first Chabad Rebbe explains to him and looks at him in the eye and says as follows. God came to Adam and Eve and said, Ayeka, where are you? Time for some self-introspection. What have you done? Why have you done it? You say it was the snake's fault. You say it was that one's fault. But did you ask yourself, what becomes of this? Why am I upset? Why are you naked? Why are you being exiled? What have you accomplished? The first Chabad Rebbe pointed to the Minister of Education who came to him at the time and he said, you, a man of X, Y, Z of age, he said, whatever his age was. God is asking you, Ayeka, where are you? What have you done? What have you accomplished? And God is asking that same question to every single one of us. Ayeka, where are you? You live in this world. You woke up this morning. What did you accomplish? Why did you wake up? God is telling every single one of us that every single one of us has to ask ourselves, Ayeka, what am I doing here? And then continues to ask Cain the same question. Lama charaloi, why are you upset? Ask yourself the next time when you get upset. Are you upset for what that person did? Or are you upset because that person has more than you? Or are you jealous of that individual? This is Genesis. It's the beginning of the book of the Torah. Because it's the beginning of the book of our life. It's the first step for us to be successful, accomplished individuals. Not necessarily materialistically, emotionally and spiritually. We have to ask ourselves, why are we upset? What are we accomplishing? Let's look at the two sacrifices that Cain and Abel brought. Cain brought from the vegetation. Abel brought from the flock. Each one of them looked to see how they were going to improve the world. Cain believed that the most that he can ever accomplish is only transform the vegetation, so he brought from the best of the vegetation. While Abel said, no, our job is to change everything that's beneath us, and beneath the human being is animal, flock, vegetation, everything also. Why was Abel's accepted and not Cain's? Because Abel understood that when it comes to dedicating myself to spirituality and godliness, it's not just when I have time. I don't take the cheapest thing I have and give it. I take the best. My best energies should be dedicated to godliness, to spirituality, to my emotional health. The same way I take care of my physical health, I should also take care of my spiritual and emotional health. The same way I look out and I see to make sure I'm progressing. Abel understood that we have to find and take the best of this world, seemingly the best materialism, and our job is to devote it and make it into something spiritual. Cain said, I'm a minimalist. I'll just use the vegetation. And therefore his sacrifice was not responded to. And when God comes to him and says, why are you upset? Did Cain not know why he was upset? Did he not realize that his brother brought a better sacrifice than himself? But over here he came to another conclusion. He felt that vegetation on its own, I can be a minimalist. I can let the physical and spiritual live in two separate plateaus. Why confuse the two? I can only take the minimal of the physical and make that spiritual. And that was his mistake. Over here, the Torah tells us, and as we read the Torah reading of this week's Torah reading, the Torah tells us this is the book, the creation of man. This is the book, the children of man. What does it mean, the children? Our actions are our children. Our actions are the things we do, are who we are. And therefore, the Torah reminds us, again, to look into yourself and ask, what are your actions? What have you accomplished? What are you today? Why are you doing it? On the positive, Ayeka, what have you done? And at the same time, on the negative, when you do get upset, as to Cain, why are you getting upset? Don't let somebody else's accomplishments cause you to be deficient. Don't let somebody else's accomplishments cause you to be jealous. Learn from them, and you can only become stronger and greater, realizing that your mistakes are only there for stepping stones to make you even greater and even more important. As God tells Cain, because you have come to realize what you have done to Abel. For 7 generations, nobody's going to be able to harm you. You will have a Tselem Elokim, a name of God on you that nobody will be able to harm you. But at the same time, you have to remember, what your task is, to wander from place to place and explain to them the experiences that you had so that you and they can grow from it. All of us in our life, we all have that special Tselem Elokim. We all have an image of God expressed on our face. Wherever we go, we have an opportunity to teach and to welcome those around us. It is our choice to be able to be upset at those around us or smile and educate them, realizing, Ayeka, I am here for a purpose and a goal to change the world. God bless you. And we should all come to little bit delve into ourselves, see a little deeper than just the surface, and we'll all accomplish our mission together, making this world a better place. God bless you and have a wonderful day. Tomorrow, join me again, lunch break with the rabbi at 1 p.m. as we finish off this first Torah reading of the book of Genesis. Have a wonderful day. Just a quick reminder, we are starting our JLI course, our fall course, which will be Secrets of the Bible. This is one of the subjects we will be discussing. So join us, sign up at jewishli.com/JLI Fall. There is a in-person option and a online option that you can join the class. Looking forward to seeing you and only the best. God bless you. Have a great day.